Now we are going to learn about the negative interrogative sentences. I have written on the board how do we write a negative interrogative sentence in the simple present tense. To write a negative interrogative sentence, the formula is do or does plus not plus subject plus present tense verb plus object. Don't, do plus not, don't. Don't you teach English? Here we are using this you for singular person, that is I. Don't you write notes? Here we are using this you for plurals, we. Don't I or we. We are using this you for singulars or for plurals. Don't we, don't I bring textbooks? You can also say don't we bring textbooks? Okay, next, don't they sing songs? Next, don't doctors operate patients? Okay, we'll draw a line over here and we'll see how it goes for singulars. Doesn't, does plus not becomes doesn't. Doesn't he write letters? Doesn't she stitch clothes? Doesn't it guard the house? Doesn't Radha cook biryani? Isn't it? Now we have learnt all the four types of sentences. We have learnt the positive sentence, the negative sentence, the positive interrogative sentence, and the negative interrogative sentence. Now we are going to see how we are going to use them in different situations. Okay. Now we'll write positive sentence. Okay. I teach English. Next, we'll write negative sentence. I don't teach English. Now the positive interrogative sentence is positive interrogative sentence. Do you teach English? Negative interrogative sentence. Don't you teach English? Isn't it? The positive sentence is I teach English. The negative is I don't teach English. The positive interrogative is do you teach English? And the negative interrogative is don't you teach English? Now, let us put these two sentences on the right hand and see how it goes. Okay? Now suppose someone asks you, do you teach English? So what is the answer is going to be? If you're teaching English, then what will you say? Yes, I teach English. If it is no, then you say, no, I don't teach English. You are asking a positive interrogative sentence to another person to ask him if he teaches English or if he doesn't teach English. So, if you want to ask the other person, how you are going to ask him? You have to ask, do you teach English? If the person teaches English, he will say, yes, I teach English. If the person doesn't teach English, then he says, no, I don't teach English. So, when you ask a positive interrogative sentence or question, you have to use you. Do you. Then this you, when you are answering, it changes to I. Now let us take the negative interrogative sentence. Negative interrogative sentence. What is this? Don't you teach English? Now why do we ask a negative interrogative sentence? To confirm whether it is yes or no. Okay. Don't you teach English? Here the answer will be the opposite. Yes, I don't teach English. No, I teach English. Okay? For the positive sentence, the answers are going to be like this. For the negative interrogative sentences, the answers are going to be like this. When you are learning spoken or communicative English, you need not concentrate too much on this. Okay? You just have to concentrate more on the positive interrogative sentences. Of course, we use the negative interrogative sentences also, but what I want you to do is to learn more quickly and not to get confused. I want you to use this one, positive interrogative sentences, and you use these type of answers, yes or no answers. Okay? Now, let us see before I use another different one. For example, I have used I. Let us take Radha, a third person singular. Here I have taken first person singular. Now we are going to take third person singular. Okay? Positive interrogative sentence. Okay. What was this? Does Radha cook biryani? What will be the answer? Yes, Radha cooks biryani. No, Radha doesn't cook biryani. Isn't it? Here we have used the subject Radha. Here we have said yes, Radha cooks biryani. No, Radha doesn't cook biryani. This is the positive sentence and this is the negative sentence. We have seen 4 different types of sentences in the previous videos. The positive is Radha cooks biryani. The negative is Radha doesn't cook biryani. The positive interrogative sentence is does Radha cook biryani? And the negative interrogative sentence is doesn't Radha cook biryani? So here what is the answer? Yes, Radha doesn't cook biryani. No, Radha cooks biryani. But for practice sake, I want you to write it in a different notebook and practice like this. Now, for example, positive sentence. Radha cooks biryani. Negative sentence. Radha doesn't cook biryani. Positive interrogative sentence. Does Radha cook biryani? Negative interrogative sentence. Doesn't Radha cook biryani? For all these sentences, you have to write these 4 sentences. You have to write them, you have to read them aloud so that you can practice daily. Suppose you don't get time to go to an institute, you don't get time to go and practice. All you need to do is, you just have to download my book, and there you can get all these types of answers. You just have to keep on reading them, keep on practicing them, and then you will become perfect and you will try to speak fluent English as soon as possible. Okay? We will close over here with a simple present tense. I've taught you 4 different sentences. Now in the simple present tense, why do we use the simple present tense that I told you before? We use the simple present tense to talk about habits or regular activities, isn't it? Or hobbies or universal truths. Now let us talk about your mother. When we want to talk about your mother, what she does and what her habits are, we use the simple present tense. Now for example, let us take my mother wakes up at 5 a.m. prays to God, takes her bath, prepares and serves bed tea, then she prepares breakfast and also prepares lunch for the afternoons. After she prepares breakfast, she serves serves my family members and she also packs lunch for my father who goes to office and packs lunch for my brother who studies in school. This is just a brief. So we are talking about our mother's regular activities. What does she do? My mother wakes up at 5 a.m., prays to God, takes her bath, prepares and serves bed tea, then she prepares breakfast and she also prepares lunch for the afternoons. After she prepares breakfast, she serves my family members and she also packs lunch for my father who goes to office and packs lunch for my brother who studies in school. For all the verbs, we have added s or es. Here you see wakes up. Why we are using s or es? Because we are talking about a singular subject, mother. Mother is one person. When we talk about a singular subject or about one person, we have to add s or es to the verbs which I have underlined. In all these verbs, we see s or es. So whenever you talk about a singular person, okay, you need to add s or es to those verbs. Only then it will be meaningful. Now what happens if we don't use my mother wake up at 5 a.m. is wrong. My mother wakes up at 5 a.m. is correct. When do we use wake up? We use it for we wake up at 5 a.m. is correct. If you say we wakes up at 5 a.m., it is wrong. We need to be careful over here when we talk about plural subjects and when we talk about singular subject. For plural subjects, we don't use s or es, but for singular subject, we use s or es. Sentences in the simple present tense. Number one, doesn't he drive cars? Doesn't she travel by air? Third one, don't you spend wisely? Fourth one, don't they care for children? Fifth one, don't Computers work fast. Sixth one, don't churches open on Sundays? Seventh one, don't aeroplanes run on petrol? Eighth one, doesn't she conduct English classes? Ninth one, doesn't oil float on water? Tenth one, doesn't neem taste bitter? 11th one, don't girls gossip a lot? 12th one, don't trains halt at junctions? 13th one, doesn't she commit mistakes? 14th one, don't you go on holidays? 15th one, don't they count money? 16th one, don't vehicles carry passengers? 17th one, doesn't Radha travel by air? 18th one, doesn't the earth rotate around the sun? 19th one, doesn't honey taste sweet? 20th one, don't stars shine brightly? We have used doesn't for singular, doesn't for singular, don't for plural, 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 doesn't for singular, doesn't for singular, doesn't for singular, don't for plural, don't for plural, doesn't for singular, don't for plural, don't for plural, don't for plural, doesn't for singular, doesn't for singular, doesn't for singular, don't for plural. Now, if suppose someone asks you, doesn't he drive cars? How are you going to answer to this? If someone asks you, doesn't he drive cars? How are you going to answer? You are going to say, yes, he doesn't drive cars. No, he drives cars. If someone asks you in the positive way, does he drive cars? You have to answer, yes, he drives cars. No, he doesn't drive cars. What are you recognizing over here? Observing? When we are using doesn't, the positive answer is also doesn't. Okay? And the negative will be the positive. Here again, does, yes, he drives. No, he doesn't. Here, the doesn't has become the positive and the positive has become the negative. There you need to be a little more careful, but you will overcome all these problems once you keep on practicing and practicing. Friends, you may subscribe to my channel in YouTube. To subscribe, please press here. Follow me on Twitter by clicking here. Want to follow me on Facebook? Click here to like my page.